Aircraft materials. The main aim is lightweight. For choosing aircraft material, the main aim is lightweight, ease of fabrication, and resistance to high temperature. Many aircraft materials are employed in the construction of aircraft. They are steel, wood, fabric, aluminium, and aluminium alloys. Copper and brass were employed for tubing and small fittings. Aluminium alloys provided the major structural materials for aircraft components because of their strength and lightweight. Aluminium alloys are also called duralumin, and thus its importance came into picture beside steel and other materials used earlier with the advent of aircraft. With the advent of supersonic flight, it was necessary to develop metals that can withstand both high stresses and high temperature. To meet these needs, stainless steel, titanium alloys, and composite materials have come into being and are now serving as structural materials whenever conditions require their use. Magnesium is also used in aircraft structure due to its lightweight. Plastic and synthetic materials are also used. Transparent plastics are used for windshield and windows, while others are employed for bushings, bearings, fairleads, tubing, ducting, and many other uses. Laminated plastics reinforced with glass fiber, fibrous graphite, and other materials are being used in various parts of aircraft. The metals usually described as ferrous metal, non-ferrous metals. Next come which is neither ferrous and non-ferrous, that is wood, plastic, and composite materials used in aircraft structure. Now, what is metal? Now you have to understand what is metal and what are its characteristics. So in metals we will go for first we will go for the ferrous metals. Ferrous metals such as cast iron, steels, and similar products. There are several types, but we shall be concerned with a large percentage of the steel used for general aircraft work are of the rod type and are designated as in addition to the standard of wrought carbon and alloy steels, a substantial number of heat and CRS, that is corrosion resistant steel, are used in aircraft. The first plain steel SA1030 was used in aircraft structure. Steel is a ferrous metal. For making steel, iron is control the carbon content in it. It can be further described as high carbon content, medium carbon content, and third is low carbon content. High carbon content contains about 50 hundredths of 1% of carbon. Medium carbon content, another type of steel, is called medium carbon steel, that is it is 0.20 to 0.30% of carbon. Now low carbon steel contain less than 30 hundredths of 1% of carbon, which is 0.10 to 0.15% of carbon. The first table, in which the first digit of each number indicates the general classification of the steel, that is carbon, nickel, etc. The number first indicates a carbon steel. The second digit of the number indicates the approximate percentage of the principal alloying elements. For example, a 2330 steel contains more than 3% nickel. The last two digits of the number indicates the approximate amount of carbon in hundredths of 1%. One of the most important considerations for ordinary carbon steel is the quantity of carbon it contains, which we have described earlier. The higher the carbon content of steel, the greater its hardness and also its brittleness. High carbon steels are used for cutting tools, spraying, etc. For general purposes, low or medium steels are best because they are more easily worked. They are tougher and they have a much greater impact resistance. Such steels were used for many years in the manufacture of aircraft structures and fittings. Probably the most commonly used steel for general aircraft structural purposes today is SAE 4130. SAE means Society of Automotive Engineers. Chromium molybdenum, chrome or moly steel. When properly heat treated, it is approximately 4 times as molybdenum steel is easily worked. Readily weldable by any method. Hardenable, heat treatable, easily machined and well adapted to high temperature conditions of service. The technician should remember the name and number of steel because it is commonly used for the tubular steel structure of aircraft. Nickel steel SAE 23 means cross and 25 cross contains from 3.5 to 5% nickel and a small percentage of carbon. The nickel increases the strength, hardness and elasticity of the steel without appreciably affecting the ductility. Nickel steel is used for making various aircraft hardware including nuts, bolts, clevis pins and screws. Nickel, chromium and chromium vanadium steels are used where steel greater strength, hardness and toughness are required. Such steels are often found in highly stressed machine parts such as gears, shafts, springs and bearings. It is not essential that technicians know the type of steel used in a particular factory made part. However, if they need to fabricate a steel part which is no longer available good or better than the original, and that is probably necessary to provide the correct degree of hardness and strength. The nature and temper of the original part can either be determined by means of a Rockwell or Brunel hardness tester. Now there are some characteristics of metals. Now first we will go for the strength. Metals are classified according to the amount of strength they can produce. The definition of strength when applied to metal is determined by the percentage of parent metal and other elements used to make the alloy. That is, number one is tensile strength. When a piece of sheet metal is pulled from each end, the resultant force is called tension. The ability to withstand tension is called tensile strength. Tensile strength is measured in pounds per square inch. When pounds per square inch are very high, the value can be expressed using the letter K. When a piece of sheet metal has a tensile strength of 70,000 psi, it can be written as 70 ksi. Number two is yield strength. The amount of stress needed to cause a metal to deform is called yield strength. When a tensile load is applied to a material, it will resist any deformation until its yield point is reached. At this time, it will actually stretch without any increase in the stress that is applied. When it stretches, its molecular structure changes enough to increase its strength and it will resist any more deformation until the ultimate load is reached, at which time the material will break. Now number two is shear strength. Shear strength is the number three is shear strength. Shear strength is the ability of the metal to withstand being cut cross-sectionally in half. A rivet holding two or more sheets of metal together resisting their sliding apart is an example of a shear load. When the rivets are installed in a joint have more strength than the metal is the surroundings joint, it is said to be loaded in shear. Now number four, bearing strength. Bearing strength is the ability of a joint to withstand any form of crushing or excessive compressive distortion of the material. The installation of the countersunk rivet heads will not provide a full effective bearing area. Now, after this all, we will go after the strength. We will go for the hardness. The hardness of the metal refers to the ability to resist cutting, penetration, or abrasion. The tensile strength of steel relates directly to its hardness, but for most of the non-ferrous metals, this relation is not absolute. Some metals may be hardened by heat treating or by work hardening, and may be softened by a process called annealing. Now, D. Malleability. The ability, C. The malleability means the ability of a material to be bent, formed, or shaped without cracking or breaking is called malleability. Generally speaking, the hardness of a metal and its malleability are opposite characteristics. When a part must be formed into a complex shape and at the same time must have high strength, it is annealed or softened and then formed after forming it complete. It is heat treated to increase its strength. The metal may be fully annealed when the forming is started, but the hammering and shaping may harden it to such an extent that it must be re-annealed before its forming can be completed. Now, E. Ductility. The ability of metal to be drawn into wire stock, extrusion, and rods are called ductility. The wire used to make rivets is referred to an extruded metal. Aluminium changes from the cast form to wrought when it is extruded into various shapes. Now, F. Brittleness. Brittleness is the opposite of the ductility and malleability and is the characteristic which causes a material to shatter when it is bent or otherwise deformed. Cast iron and fully hard steel, such as we use in the manufacture of files, are quite brittle and will break rather than bend. G is the conductivity. In conductivity, the first one is thermal conductivity. The ability to transmit heat through metal is called conductivity. To conduct heat from its source, it must be absorbed first so it can be carried away. The ability of metal to conduct heat away and then be cooled is called heat exchange. The fins of the cylinder heads of an air-cooled piston engine remove heat in the fashion. Metal which can carry heat will also carry electrons, thus making them good electrical conductors. Now, number 2 is electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity is the movement of electrons through a piece of metal. The metal through which electrons flow can be a wire, an aircraft frame, or an engine. Electrons flow much easier in some metals than they do in others. The best electrical conductors are metals which are very expensive, such as gold, silver, and platinum. Now there is a thermal expansion, H. When the molecules inside a metal are heated, they want to move away from each other, and when chilled, they want to pull together. In technical terms, this is defined as expanding when heated and contracting when chilled. All aircraft, whether it is large or small, are subjected to thermal expansion and contraction. While an aircraft is sitting on the ground, it will expand or contract with the various temperature changes. Now, number I, elasticity. The ability of the ability of sheet of metal to return to its original position after normal stretching and bending is called elasticity. Spring steel, though very hard, is a good example of elasticity. Another form of elasticity is demonstrated when aircraft skins expand and contracts due to pressurization during takeoffs and landing. All metals have a point beyond which they will not return to their original shape after the deforming force is removed. This is known as the elastic limit. Soft materials such as lead, copper, and aluminum have very low elastic limits, while the elastic limit of hard spring steel is very high. Now J. Toughness. Toughness is the described characteristic of a material to resist tearing or bearing when it is bent or stretched. Hammer faces and wrenches must be tough as well as hard to make them useful as tools. Now K. Fusibility. The ability of metal to be fused by heating and melting is defined as fusibility. To fuse metal means to melt two or more compatible pieces of metal into one continuous part. The correct term is called fusion, joining, or building. Now L. Density. Density is actually the mass per unit volume of a material, and throughout the discussion of metals we use the density of material to compare weight. 1 cubic centimeter of pure water weighs 1 gram and it is said to have a density of 1. Aluminum has a density of 2.7, so a cubic centimeter of aluminum weighs 2.7 grams. In the English system, a cubic inch of a pure water weighs 0.03611 pound, and aluminum with its density of 2.7 will weigh 2.7 times this amount or 0.0975 pound. Since the 1940, the term stainless steel, also designated corrosion resistant steel (CRS), has become a household word because of many applications in consumer items as well as in aircraft and missiles. The development of stainless steel has made possible many of the outstanding advances in aircraft, gas turbine engines, and rockets. The most important characteristic of stainless steels are corrosion resistance, strength, toughness, and resistance to high temperatures. Stainless steels can be divided into three general groups based on their structure: austenitic, ferritic, and martensitic. The austenitic are chromium nickel and chromium nickel manganese alloys. They can be hardened only by cold working, and the heat treatment serves only to anneal them. They are non-magnetic in the annealed conditions, although some may be slightly magnetic after cold working. Austenitic steels are formed by heating the steel mixture above the critical range and holding to form a structure called austenite. A controlled period of partial cooling is allowed, followed by a rapid quench just above the critical range. Ferritic steel contains no carbon, hence they do not respond to heat treatment. They contain a substantial amount of chromium and may have a small amount of aluminum. They are always magnetic. C. The third one is martensitic. Steel are straight chromium alloys that harden intensely if they are allowed to cool rapidly from high temperatures. They differ from the two preceding groups because they can be hardened by heat treatment. The most widely used stainless steel for general use are those in the 300 series called 18-8 because they contain approximately 18% chromium and 8% nickel. Typical of these types are 301, 302, 321 and 347. Although stainless steels have many advantages, there are certain disadvantages that must be faced by the fabricator and designer. Number 1. Stainless steels are more difficult to cut and form than many materials. Number 2, stainless steels have a much greater expansion coefficient than other steels, and they conduct heat at a lower rate. This makes welding more difficult. Number 3, many of the stainless steels lose their corrosion resistance under high temperatures. In the use of corrosion resistant steel for aircraft, the technician must assure that the proper type of selected for the part of aircraft involved. In most cases, a damaged part can be replaced by a factory made part identified by the part number. However, there are situations where it is preferable to repair a part by patching or welding. In these cases, the correct type of corrosion resistant steel must be chosen. In welding, CRES, inert gas or welding is preferred because this process causes less deformation due to the heat expansion of the metal, and it prevents oxidation. The expansion of stainless steel due to temperature increase may be more than twice than of ordinary carbon steel. Because of the toughness, stainless steel is more difficult to cut, form, shear, machine, or drill than is ordinary steel. For this reason, the technician who is to work with this material successfully must be experienced in the necessary process or must be directed by an experienced technician. Here I am consulting all the concerned books by the DGCA or ESC module because I don't have any other source which you could understand. I cannot become those things. It is necessary to consult books. So it cannot be said as a copyright, but I tried my best to explain the aircraft material still ferrous metal. Now I will go another chapter for non-ferrous metal or another video for the non-ferrous metal and other things. The first plain steel SA1030 was used in aircraft structure. Steel is a ferrous metal. For making steel, iron is control the carbon content in it. It can be further described as high carbon content, medium carbon content, and third is low carbon content. High carbon content contains about 50 hundredths of 1% of carbon. Medium carbon content, another type of steel, is called medium carbon steel. That is, it is 0.20 to 0.30% of carbon. Now low carbon steel contain less than 30 hundredths of 1% of carbon, which is 0.10 to 0.15% of carbon.